The movie begins with a scene in a metro where the main character of the story, In-soo, a young college student, is talking with his mother on the phone. He is returning to his home after school. He tells his mother that he is all good, and if he faces the same problem again, he will go on living with his uncle. In the metro, some of his school friends make fun of him, telling him that he is rumored to see ghosts. When his friends are bullying him, he notices a girl's ghost inside the metro. He is very disturbed to see such visions. After he steps out of the metro, he walks to his room very cautiously. The incident scares him, and he decides to get back to his hometown to see his uncle Soon-Lee. He calls Soon-Lee and tells him that he is coming to stay with him. He also asks him if he had heard about Ah-young. Soon-Lee then replies that the story is very old. Afterwards, we see In-soo returning to his hometown, where he notices a beautiful schoolgirl named Rose. She is very cute and attractive, but In-soo is seen ignoring her. In-soo meets his uncle Soon-Lee, who has the same ability as him to see the ghosts. Soon-Lee tells him that he wants to stay away from all this. He asks In-soo if the locket given to him by his great-grandfather still helps him. In fact, it's the locket which was shown in the beginning of the movie in the metro. The specialty of the locket is that it spins whenever any spirit or ghost is around. In-soo gets admitted to his childhood school. Despite admitting to his old school, In-soo's situation gets worse as there's a bullying gang in the school who seems to hate him. They seem to bully the kids who are weak, and In-soo is one of them. A girl named Hyun-ji seems to be interested in him, which annoys her boyfriend, Hae-chul. Suddenly, In-soo feels the presence of a ghost spirit around the classroom and notices a girl ghost wearing a mask outside. One day, In-soo gets beaten by Hae-chul as he does not want In-soo to talk with any girl present in the school. He threatens him, telling if he could still remember the case of Ah-young. In-soo is back to his old school where Ha-chul, In-soo, and Ah-young used to read together. Hae-chul also orders In-soo to stay away from Hyun-ji. The scene then shifts to a female student who appears to be the member of the bully gang in the school. She reaches her home after school and notices a polythene bag hanging on the entrance. The girl gets curious and approaches the polythene to open it. The polythene is found to be filled with blood, which gets splashed all over the head of the girl. She gets really scared and tries to call her friends, but none of her friends can hear what she is saying. She is then haunted by the masked girl, whom In-soo saw earlier in the classroom. In the next scene, we see In-soo sitting with the same girl which he noticed earlier, Rose. Rose is also a ghost spirit, whom only In-soo can see. She suggests In-soo to fight back with Hae-chul, as he always keeps on hurting somebody without any reason. Suddenly, wind starts to blow and Rose tells In-soo that the masked girl is near them and runs away from there. The masked girl takes Hyun-ji's friend to a storeroom and ties her hands and legs. She is then killed by the ghost of the masked girl. One day, In-soo and Rose are walking together when In-soo tells Rose about Ah-young. Ah-young was a classmate of In-soo from his childhood who was found dead one day. As In-soo could see the ghost spirits, Ah-young's spirit also appeared in front of In-soo and asked him to tell everyone who murdered her. She also pointed out the murderer, but In-soo could not tell anything to anyone. He in fact decided to stay silent and move away from the place. He mentions to Rose that he is back because he feels that Ah-young is still waiting for him. He reaches Ah-young's house and meets her father. Ah-young's father expresses his happiness for In-soo, remembering him. Just then, In-soo notices Ah-young's spirit nearby, who waves her hand to say goodbye to him. In-soo is a bit relaxed to witness all this. After that, Rose and In-soo set out to roam around the place. They seem happy to be with each other. In-soo teaches her how to warm her hands. They start to get along very well even though Rose is a spirit. The next day at school, Hyun-ji is slapping a boy without any reason in front of the classroom. A fed-up In-soo intervenes between them and asks Hyun-ji to stop bullying him for no reason. Hae-chul gets up to beat In-soo but is stopped by Hyun-ji. At night, when In-soo is drawing a sketch of Rose, he is teased by Rose changing her places. In-soo feels her presence, but is unable to locate her. He then starts changing his clothes and Rose is looking at him hiding inside the cupboard. Sometime later, In-soo is watching the news with his uncle where a solved murder case is shown. It is mentioned that the murderer is caught after 10 long years and he appears to be wearing a mask. Seeing the mask, In-soo remembers the masked girl ghost which he noticed in the school. One of the ghosts staying with them tells them the name of the masked girl to be Se-hee. Soon Lee tries to ask her about the grudge of the masked girl, but she just keeps on telling her name. In the school, two of the members, a boy and a girl, of the bully gang are seen at night. They are there to get back the girl's cell phone, which was seized by one of the teachers earlier. After that, they enter a classroom and start playing with each other. In the meantime, the girl rushes to the washroom and the boy is left alone in the classroom. He lies on one of the benches waiting for her to return. But when he opens his eyes, he is knocked down by the masked ghost girl. The girl who is inside the washroom hears a thumping sound and shouts at him not to do so. After she gets out of the washroom, she checks the other spaces and runs outside as if she has seen something frightening. Afraid, she walks into the classroom but finds no one inside it. When she tries to get out, the dead body of the boy is placed in front of her. She freaks out and attempts to call her friends, but the masked girl appears in front of her and confesses that she is Se-hee. In the next scene, In-soo tries to collect the information about Se-hee in the school. He asks everyone in the classroom, but nobody dares to speak about Se-hee, despite knowing about her, as they are scared of the bullying gang. A girl tries to speak, but she is signaled by Hyun-ji to not do so. When Rose and In-soo are enjoying their time together at a riverside, In-soo gets a message from the same girl who tried to give him some information about Se-hee at school. In the message, she has sent the photo of Se-hee and a message which indicates that she should not be asked anything about Se-hee further. On inquiring about Se-hee with Rose, she tells him that nobody was seen curious of Se-hee's death as everybody knew how she died. Knowing that Hyun-ji along with her bully gang killed Se-hee, a furious In-soo attacks HIGHSCHOOL from the back but gets beaten instead. He tells them that they had killed Se-hee, which makes Hyun-ji silent and numb. HIGHSCHOOL keeps on beating him and In-soo mentions that Se-hee is not going to leave her. He suggests they expose what they had done wrong with Se-hee to everyone. After hearing the words from In-soo, Hyun-ji starts to get worried. She shows HIGHSCHOOL the image of Se-hee's father and calls out the incident of her missing friends. They conclude that it's Se-hee's father who is killing everyone for the sake of his daughter. Then they decide to kill Se-hee's father and reach her home. Hyun-ji insists on calling In-soo at the house, but HIGHSCHOOL refuses and gets angry at Hyun-ji. After HIGHSCHOOL enters Se-hee's house, Hyun-ji messages In-soo that they are about to enter the house. In-soo gets the message and informs his uncle about the situation. He decides to go to Se-hee's house and help them. In-soo's uncle, Hakaru, provides him with the locket and lets him go. When HIGHSCHOOL and Hyun-ji enter the house, they hear some thumping sound coming from a box. They are very scared to hear that, and HIGHSCHOOL starts throwing his hands around, while Hyun-ji notices some flashy images of Se-hee. After seeing the ghost of Se-hee, they realize that it's the ghost who is behind all the murders. Soon, Se-hee's father comes out from the box and attacks HIGHSCHOOL. He attacks HIGHSCHOOL multiple times until he dies. In-soo reaches there but cannot locate them. As Hyun-ji screams in fear, Se-hee's father approaches her. She apologizes for what she did with Se-hee, but her father attacks her and kills her as well. Hearing Hyun-ji's last scream, In-soo follows it, and as he is about to enter the place, Se-hee's father comes out from there. In-soo then enters to see all his classmates, the bully gang, dead on the floor. After that, In-soo notices a box half opened. He approaches the box and opens it to find a girl wearing a mask who is Se-hee. After removing the mask, he is surprised to see that the girl is none other than the one who he loves to spend time with, Rose. The scene then switches to some flashbacks, where Se-hee complains to the head teacher about Hyun-ji's bullying nature. Hyun-ji gets insulted by the head teacher and gets angry. Enraged, Hyun-ji enters the classroom and checks Se-hee's notebooks to match her handwriting with the complaint letter. She figures out that it is Se-hee who complained against her. After that, Hyun-ji and her group start to bully Se-hee very badly. They start beating her, pulling her hair, and also make her wear a mask so that she could never speak again. They even set her hair on fire. When asked by the teacher, the girl said that she couldn't take off the mask, which stunned the teacher as she couldn't believe it. Ultimately, it turned out to be a tragedy. All other students inside the classroom seem to ignore whatever is happening with Se-hee. They seem to enjoy themselves as if Se-hee does not exist around them. Se-hee gets fed up from the bullying and cries at home. Her dad asks her to complain about them to the teacher. However, Se-hee responds that the teacher seems to get annoyed by the complaint and takes no action against them. Later, Se-hee hangs herself. On searching further, In-soo finds a diary where all the names of the victims are written and are crossed out except one, which is their head teacher. In-soo calls his uncle and asks him to reach Se-hee's house and perform the funeral rite as he knows. In-soo then heads towards the school to save the head teacher. In the next scene, we see the head teacher working on the computer when she sees Se-hee's ghost on the screen. After that, all the students get a message to be present at the library. In-soo also reaches the library and asks everyone about the teacher, but no one seems to have seen her. Soon, the lights of the library go out and Se-hee appears in front of them, in the teacher's face. She throws the box of gasoline towards the students. Se-hee comes to her real avatar and tells everyone that they had ignored her earlier when she was being bullied. Hence, all of them deserve to die. In-soo tries to stop her, but Se-hee lights up the lighter and throws it to the floor. However, Rose, the alter ego of Se-hee, comes to the rescue and catches the lighter before it can touch the gasoline. Here, Se-hee seems to be the bold and deadly character, whereas Rose seems to be the kind-hearted and innocent part. Se-hee tells Rose if she has forgotten how she was bullied and tortured. She mentions that she is no longer weak. Se-hee then removes Rose from there and possesses the teacher's body. She starts to break everything around with her spiritual power and scares everyone. In-soo, on the other hand, starts checking the locket to everyone who could be possessed by Rose. When he finds the locket spinning to a girl, he asks her to stop all this and hands her a notebook. The scene again shifts to the flashback where we are shown that In-soo and Se-hee were childhood friends. She once saved In-soo from getting bullied by Ken. They seemed to be in love in their childhood, as In-soo had drawn Se-hee's picture in his notebook. In-soo apologizes with the spirit of Rose because he could not recognize her childhood friend. Rose hands over the lighter to In-soo but is stopped by evil Se-hee. At this moment, Hikari completes the ritual of freeing the spirit, which makes the knife kept in In-soo's pocket to shine. Rose takes out the knife and stabs herself, after which we are shown the beautiful flashback memories of In-soo and Rose. In the last scene, we can see all the students mourning near Se-hee's grave. Later, we see In-soo has come back to his own school as a teacher. He notices a spirit sitting at the last bench of his class. He inquires about who sits in the last bench, and the class responds that a girl used to sit there who has changed her school recently. The spirit approaches In-soo, and the movie ends.